All right, what's up guys? VV back with another video. And in today's video, guys, we're going to be checking out some Gecko Moria action. And of course, since we're checking out Gecko Moria the leader, today's topic of the day is going to have to be 8-cost Gecko Moria. We're going to be talking about that, having a little bit of fun. Hopefully that stays civil, but I can imagine that getting pretty spicy. We'll see what happens. Okay, so without any further ado, guys, let's go ahead and hop into the video. I'm going to tell you guys what we're getting into. First things first, we are going to be heading over to the lab. We have a game of Blue Doffy versus Purple Yellow Gecko Robin, so some OP09 action. After that, we're going to head over to the discussion for the topic of the day, and it's titled, Is the 8-cost Gecko Moria Broken? Okay, that should be very interesting. I know that's a very polarizing, divisive card, so we are going to talk about that a little bit. Next up, we'll have 5 games on the sim of Gecko Moria. That should be a lot of fun. And then we'll check out the deck list. I'll give you guys my final thoughts on it from there. And actually, one more thing before we go any further. Big shout out to someone, another content creator who I'm using their list today. Artress TCG. They put out a video about a week ago at the time of me recording this, and I will link their channel down in the comment section below. They put out a video on Gecko Moria running a pretty spicy list, guys. We're going to be checking that out in today's video. So big shout out to Artress, really cool guy. And if I can remember, guys, I do these videos in one whole take. I don't do any editing. Excuse me. If I can remember, he also had a question for me to do for the topic of the day. What's my favorite character? We will, if I remember, we will talk about that as well in today's video. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. We got a lot to go over, a lot to get through. I'll have everything timestamped in the general description, all relevant deck lists and links down in the comment section below. Okay, guys? All right, let's do it. And of course, if you have any questions, don't be afraid to ask. Okay, move the leader here. First things first, guys. First up, we got the VV Lab. For any of the new listeners out there, what is this? This is a community-submitted game, so this is not me playing, but people in the community, they will submit games for me to review, for me to check out, and to give my, almost like free coaching on this, okay? So if you're interested in me reviewing one of your games, it's super easy to set up, guys. Record your game. It's a 3-step process, okay? Number 1, record your game. Number 2, upload it to YouTube. And number 3, hop over to the VV Theory Discord. If you're not already on there, the link is in the channel description. Hop over to the VV Theory Discord, and then I have a channel called Review My Game. Excuse me. It's called Review My Game. As soon as I see it, I give you the thumbs up. You know, put the link in there, and as soon as I see it, I check it every day. I'll give you the thumbs up, and whenever it's your turn, you're up. Okay, you get thrown in line. All right, let's do this. If you guys have any questions on that, please don't hesitate to ask on getting set up. Volume is off. The speed is on 2x, and we are good to go, guys. The quality is as high as it will go, which is 720. Not too bad. Okay, so here we go. Excuse me. So it looks like the Doffy player got to go... They chose to go second. Excuse me. The Doffy player chose to go second, it looks like, if I'm seeing this correctly. After I just took my glasses off, hopefully I'm seeing it correctly. And they chose to go double searchers at the start. Very, very greedy start. And then Gecko Robin's going to swing for 8 with Banish and ramps a Dawn card to go to 4 Dawn. Okay, so it's 4 Dawn to 4 Dawn right now. Very, very powerful start for Gecko Robin and dropping down the life of the opponent. Wow, very nice for Gecko Robin, guys. So the Doffy player, let's explain what just happened real quick. They played out a buggy for the turn. That was 1 Dawn. Then they attached 2 Dawn to their leader and then swung. They set their top 3 cards of their deck with the buggy, of course. And then they swung for 7 with the leader and then used the final Dawn. So that was all 4 Dawn used for the turn. The top card was a Boa Hancock that they set there with the buggy. And now watch what happens. They're going to attach a Dawn with the effect after setting their top 3. But then they get punished. And it's not something they could necessarily play around, but they hit a trigger that pops a fiberless. Let me explain how sequencing goes for some of the newer players. That Doffy effect is a when attacking. So in other words, when it attacks, it's going to do that effect first before a blocker is determined, before anything happens on the combat chain, quote unquote, or like the that's like flesh and blood talk, right? But before anything happens on the stack, or however you'd like to say that, whatever game you come from, what happens first is they attack in and then do their when attacking effect. Then you could choose to block if you had a blocker, if you're the defender, and then you could counter out, right? But in this situation here, there was no defender or anything, but that didn't even matter because they attack in, they play out the character, which is Boa, and then before the damage even hits, the Boa does their effect and puts a Dawn on the leader, and then the 8,000 power goes through. They choose not to counter out of it. They take the hit. It was an Onami. Excuse me, Onami can pop a fiberless character with the trigger. So that was a very nice setup for the purple-yellow Gecko Robin there. Okay, gonna load. Hey, looks like we're loading up for 5 more, swinging for 10. Oh, choosing not to ramp a Dawn. Very, very unfortunate there. I would have ramped a Dawn to get to 9 next turn by trashing the 0 cost event in hand. But not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. Okay, so they set up the Marshall D Teach. They set their top card, which is a Jinbei. The Jinbei is going to do its on play before damage happens. It's going to play out the Boa. Boa's going to do their on play before the damage happens. Then it happens. We take it. We get another 0 cost 3K event. And they've got a pretty menacing board here. And they're swinging with Buggy. Okay. Now, hear me out real quick. If we had ramped to 9 Dawn, like I was saying, we could have used the 1K counter from the Sanji right there to get out of that attack from Buggy. And then this turn, we could play out the 9 cost Lin Lin, throwing the Boa out of the way, swinging 5 into the Jinbei and going about things that way, or even swinging 5 into the Buggy, just something to slow our opponent down. Okay, but we only have 8 Dawn, so this is probably going to be a Sanji play. Yeah, we don't really have any other option. They have to return 1 Dawn. We'll rest down a 6 cost or less with the Sanji's effect, and it has Rush, so we're going to be able to swing for, what, maybe 5 and 7. It looks like they want to leave 1 Dawn active for the Gum Gum Giant in their hand. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, not going for the Buggy. I always try to go for the board, but hey, that works getting cards out of hand with the banish. I do totally get that. Okay, they're gonna use oh, okay, all right, very intricate line of play there. Hang on one second, guys. A lot just happened there actually. So they used a Perfume Femur, which seems like a total waste of Dawn. I'm going to be honest, but at the same time, I see what they were doing. They paid 2 to use that effect, which gave them 2,000 power. So 2 Dawn for 2,000 power, and it's unblockable, but there's no blocker. Who cares? However, then they used, before they attacked, they used the Marshall D Teach's effect to attach 2 Rested Dawn to the leader, which was the 2 Dawn used to use the effect. So now it's at 9,000, and then they set a card to the top of their deck with the Marshall D Teach's effect. Then they pay 1 to do it with the leader's attack, cheating out of Jinbei. Jinbei cheats out an Edward Weevil, and they're coming in for 9K. We're taking that. Yeah, I don't think we have a way to get out of that. It would have taken us too many cards in hand. And plus, it was fine to take that anyway. Okay, they're going to swing in for 7 here. 0 cost 3K, absolutely. And so far, I agree with every decision made so far by the purple-yellow Nico Robin and the and the blue Doffy player seems to be doing pretty well so far. The only thing I would have done differently was ramping to the 9 Dawn for the purple-yellow Nico Robin. That's like the one thing I'd have done differently. Okay, so right there we popped. Okay, very nice. So we only had 1 life, right? Yamato comes into play and then checks the life totals between you and your opponent, which was 4, and it can KO a character based on that total there, which was 4. Then, if you have 1 or less life, gains a life. So really powerful effect there. We popped the Boa. We're going to swing 5 into the Buggy here, and then we're going to swing 7 into Jinbei. Nice cleanup time. We got the cleanup crew in here. We're up to 2 life. They only have 2 really strong attackers here. Wait, what? Okay. Hang on. So we've got a blunder. We've got a blunder here for sure. Let me bust out the accuracy meter. Okay, so watch the board here for a second, guys. So they have an Edward Weevil they can swing with. They play out the Jozu and pull back the Edward Weevil. Okay, so that has to fall somewhere under the lines of like blunder or something like that, some type of mistake, because there's no reason not to at least attack. Or even just swing for 7 with it into the Sanji if you don't want to give them a potential trigger. I get that idea too. But not using it at all, that seems a little bit wild to me, guys. That seems a little bit wild. Okay, playing out the Perona here, doing a top 5 set. So we had the Perona anyway, and then we still pulled back the Edward Weevil, and now we're going to do it in this way. Maybe that was to draw a 2K counter or something. Maybe they're trying to find a 2K counter. I have no idea. They get punished. They attack in. We get a Kikanojo trigger. 3 into 5. Okay, so we've got some mistakes going on like crazy, guys. Pause. We've got a lot of mistakes going on, and that might have been a tell. Why are you swinging for 3,000 into a 5K leader? Are you trying to tell me that you have no counter power? Let's see if the purple-yellow Nico Robin player sees the same thing I do. Okay, yeah, so that was a very clear sign right there. We swung in for 5. They take it. Guys, swinging in for 5 and taking it is crazy. That's a banish leader, okay? All right, we're going to swing in for 6 here. They take that. Okay, we're going to swing in for 7. Are they just conceding? Maybe they're just conceding at this point. I'm not exactly sure. We play out the ace. We do the fancy attack here. They had exactly 10. They had exactly 10K right there. Did you see that? So they had exactly 10. We had a beige and a something else in life. Let me see if we can see it here. Boom, boom, boom. Wait, so they had 2K and 3 1Ks. I'm so confused. I think they might have just given up, guys. I think the idea was they were just giving up. I'm not exactly sure why else they would do that. So we had a beige, and it looks like a Shirahoshi as our last cards in life. Seems good. Seems really good. Really, really good submission. The one thing that I would have changed, and it's not much, and it was really more of a preference thing, because I can understand not wanting to trash the 2K counter or the 0-cost 3K, but right here on this turn, I would have absolutely ramped it on, because I know I'm gaining a life next turn with my Charlotte Linlin while simultaneously playing around something like a pudding. You see what I'm saying? Because if we trash a card right here, we're down to 5 cards in hand. So if they have a pudding and they see us with more cards in hand, they might have tried to hit us that way. But who knows? They might not have even been playing pudding, and obviously they didn't even use it this game. So really, really good stuff there. That was awesome. Some questionable plays at the end here by the Doffy. They just kind of fell apart. Not attacking first with the Weevil and then pulling it back with the Jozu. If you're struggling with counter power, why not pull back the Marshall D. Teach, because he has a 1K counter. I don't know, guys. I don't know. That was wild. Very interesting there, though. Very good game. That was a good one. Okay, now let's head over to the topic of the day. Y'all give me just a second to get set up. Still a little bit of a learning curve here, guys. I'm trying to figure out how to do this the best way. Okay. And let me go over to this and the text. There we go. All right, so here we go, guys. Today's topic of the day, y'all see it down there, is the black 8-cost Gecko Moria broken? Now, before we get into this topic, got to give a shout out to my guy Artress one more time here. I say my guy, I don't really know Artress that well. I just, he has had some, he's made some comments on my channel, under the comment section, and he's also on the Discord. But he seems like a really cool guy. I check out a lot of his videos. Especially like these down here, the King video, purple yellow, what's it called? Purple yellow, oh, y'all can't even see it. It's the purple yellow pudding video. That was a cool one. So, he has a lot of videos. He puts out one about once every week, it looks like, or once every 4 days or so. And this one right here for Trick or Treat, I was like, oh man, we got to check that out. It was a spicy list, and we're going to be running that today. And in my last video, he did have a, he had a comment here. Here it is. We're going to zoom way far in here. Whoa, that was too far. That was too far. Okay. He said, I would like to know who is your favorite One Piece character? Okay, I know some people might already know that, but just to answer that question up front, since it is more of an easier question to answer, it's a more personal one. For me, it is Rayleigh. When it comes to my favorite characters in any type of movie, any type of show, any type of anime, any type of video game, whatever it might be, my favorite characters are almost always the wise old man, right? The veteran, the teacher, right? And that's probably the best way to say it. So Rayleigh for me is my absolute favorite character in One Piece. When it comes to Naruto, Minato was like my favorite as far as like the dad figure goes, because I am a father as well. So Minato, or Minato, however you say that, he was my favorite in Naruto. And then also Jiraiya. Really big fan of them. And of course in Dragon Ball Z, Master Roshi. I'm just kidding. No. Master Roshi is one of the few ones I don't really care for, and I really didn't like Jiraiya at first either, because I don't like how they made him real pervy. I'm not a big fan of that. Not judging, okay? Not judging. But I'm just saying it's one of those things where it's like, I wish that had been handled, a little bit differently. With my favorite character being, my favorite character archetype being like the teacher, the veteran, the guy who's been there, done that kind of thing, right? I like that. He just wants to like impart his wisdom or his knowledge on the younger crowd, the people who are they have all the ambitions, they want to go do stuff, they want to go make a name for themselves. Okay, so my favorite character. Absolutely. Whoops, let me scroll down so you guys can see it. My favorite character is absolutely Rayleigh. Big fan. And if I had to pick a second or third, it would be Garp. Absolutely love Garp. He's just like this stern, old grandpa. He knows what's right. He's mad because his family messes up, but he's still there for them. He still loves them in the end. Absolute. Garp's easily my second favorite character in One Piece. Okay, awesome question. Awesome question. Now let's go ahead and hop over. Let me. Actually, I'll leave that all zoomed in for now. Let's go ahead and hop over to the main question of the day. Is this character broken? Don't mind the list. Never mind the list, guys. Don't even think about that. I wanted to have certain characters to be able to talk about when we're looking at today's video. But this is the character here. We're not talking about this list. I just know someone's like, oh, that list is terrible. Guys, we're not talking about it. We're talking about this character. In fact, let me go ahead and like move some cards so we don't have to have any distractions. We'll just move a lot of stuff around here. Okay, there we go. Much better, right? Much better. So is this card broken, guys? I want to know what y'all think in the comment section below. All right, moving on. No, this is a super controversial topic. I have to choose my words very wisely here. I think this character, when you look at it at face value, it's an 8-cost, 9,000 power character with a very powerful effect, bringing back a 4-cost and a 2-cost. And I'm going to say this right now. I don't think that this character by itself on face value is broken, because I have up the 4-cost blue cards here. This is a 4-cost 5K that pulls out a 4-cost character, right? Now it does pull it from your hand. I do understand the difference, whereas this pulls it from your trash, so there's more potential value, right? We got to go down to one of these. It's driving me crazy, guys. Okay. There's that OCD kicking in. Sorry. My apologies, guys. I know I shouldn't apologize for that, but it's like, it's one of those things, when I see it, I have to do it, and I don't edit my videos, so it had to be done. So Gecko Moria here, he is a very powerful character, and I don't think he's broken at face value. I think there are certain elements on the card that allow it to be abused, and here's what they are. Let's go over to the black cards real quick. Okay, I have the 4. I already have them up here. What am I doing? That was the whole point of doing this, right? So I could have all these cards up here all perfectly. But so Gecko Moria, if he was cheating out something like Lola, which is a Thriller Bark card, that would make sense, right? Okay, I'll cheat out this 4-cost card Lola, and then I'll cheat out like a 2-cost. Let me leave this card up here, this card, and that's fine. And then for the 2-cost cards, let me pull up a few of them. We will bring up brand new, because that is that's a whole nother thing to talk about. And did I get rid of Helmeppo? No, I got Helmeppo down here. Very good. Let me bring up Cerberus. And I do want to bring up Suru, just for what we're going to talk about in today's video. It would be one thing if Gecko Moria was bringing back this, or I do want to bring up Inupe as well. That's another good target. So if Gecko Moria, this is going to be the theme here, to be honest, is if Gecko Moria was type locked, I think it'd be a very balanced and really powerful card for Thriller Bark. However, it's not, and that's what we have to talk about. Because it is not type locked, it's not even color locked, guys. If you guys are wondering, like, you know, whenever you look at the results, it's like, okay, it looks pretty good variation, where it's like we got some Luchis up there, black, yellow Luffy, then there's like Bonnie, Doflamingo now, maybe even a Nami up there, and then like a SC14 Luffy, you know, the black, I call him Blaffy. But it's like, well, wait a minute. SC14 Luffy, Lucci, and black, yellow Luffy, those are all running this guy, right? In fact, some of them aren't even running Rebecca. I've heard some people say that this is a bigger issue, and I understand where it comes from, but I don't think this is the bigger issue. I think the larger issue is the fact that this card is not type locked. And let's not be too negative, guys. I'm not trying to, you know, complain or anything like that too much, but I think there is some things that need to be talked about, so that hopefully, you know, hopefully Bandai did learn something from printing this card. I like the card. Black and yellow, those are my two most played colors in this game, guys. So it's not that I don't like the card, but let's talk about like long-term health for the game. And if with this card existing and having 0 restrictions, it can pull back any 4-cost or lower card, any 2-cost or lower card. What kind of restrictions are we looking at in the future? Like for design space, if something like this exists. Because right now, we're only 9 sets in, right? Technically in the East, they're 9 sets in. We're only 8.5 to 8.5 sets in the West. And look at what we can do already. We can go, okay, for 8 Dawn, we'll go Gecko Moria into Rebecca plus Helmeppo. So that'll be our 4-cost and 2-cost card. The Helmeppo will snag back the Spandine. The Spandine will get played through the Rebecca's effect, the second part of the effect. And then the Rob Lucci will come out of the on-play effect from the Spandine. And for 8 Dawn, we just developed, what is that? 8 plus 8 is 16. Plus 2 is 18. Plus 3 is 21. And we still have 2 Dawn left. Remember, so that's where you can combo with Ice Ages or Tempest Kicks to get even further value. And then when the stage was still in the game, okay, when there was still a stage in the game, then you also had the ability, you know, you can swing with the leader to do -1 if you're running Lucci, and then you still have another -2 from, where's the stage? The very first one here. Then you have a whole other -2 to do from the stage. And instead of dealing with this character head on, instead what they chose to do is try to limit Lucci in other ways by doing something like banning the stage. And if you look at the track record for, when you look at the track record for, let me zoom way far out here. Y'all give me just a second. For Bandai. And when you look at their banned and restriction list, So recently they banned 2 leaders, right? Well, not recently. Yeah, these were staggered bannings, but still they banned Red Purple Law. Then they banned the stage with Red Purple Law. Then they banned Sakazuki along with a few events. So it seems like if you follow everything, other than Kabaji, they really do not like banning characters. That's one thing I noticed with Bandai. I want to say Bandai, but I think it's Cardass. I think it's the people who developed their game. But they're just under the same umbrella, if I'm not mistaken. Whatever the case is, whoever makes the game under Bandai, they don't like banning characters. Have y'all noticed that? They really don't do it very often. They have no problem banning stages. Look, we've seen a Moby Dick stage ban, and we've also seen a Innie's Lobby stage ban. They have no problem banning leaders. We've seen Red Purple Law be banned. We've seen Blue Black Sakazuki be banned. And then they really don't have a problem banning certain events. But it looks like the characters, they don't want to touch those. I don't know why. I'm not saying it's the right call. I have no idea. But it looks like they really don't want to touch those. And in fact, when you look at errata, when you look at the erratas, that's typically when you get into the actual characters. Like some things, of course, there's going to be some events on here as well. But take a look at all the characters that are going to be on here as well. And we're not going to take time to read all this. But they don't mind doing erratas for characters when it's something to do with the rulings, like specific card interactions. It should say something very specifically, like up to something. Okay, and I don't know what this is down here at the bottom. Oh, is this all cards that have been errated? Yeah, so when they first developed the game, there were certain cards that didn't have the up to clause in there. And if you don't have that clause within the game, it does kind of hurt certain interactions. So that's what all of this is. We're not going to go through all these. This was just when they were trying to fix the game. But again, notice they have no problem errata-ing characters or anything. However, when it comes to the... let me go back. When it comes to bans and restrictions, they really don't like touching characters. The only character that I'm aware of that they have banned fully, again, I think they kind of restricted 9-cost Newgate for a while, and then they ended up banning the leader at some point. But the only character that they've really just gone through with a hard ban on has been this guy, Kabaji, and this had something more to do with Nami. This didn't have to do with, like, really, anything other than Nami. So back to the card pool here. As far as this card, so now let's get back to the topic here. Is the card broken? And I don't think the actual card itself is broken as far as, like, what it is able to do is broken. Like, because it seems very, like, okay, an 8-cost 9K that brings back a 4-cost and a 2-cost, that's not even that crazy. We have 4-costs that bring out 4-costs right now with Blue Doffy. We have a 7-cost that brings out a 5-cost with Purple. Now, yes, there are stipulations to that, and this brings stuff out of the trash. However... the problem, I think, with this card was not so much the design of what it does, pulling out a 4 and a 2. The problem was not type locking the card. And that's hard for me to admit, guys, because I'm not someone who really enjoys the type locking idea. However, as this game grows, as the card pool becomes more and more massive, type locking things is becoming very, very important. Like, let's talk about Cavendish real quick. Not this one, but this one. This is a card that they said, you know what, this effect is so powerful, we're going to have to type lock it to Supernova. Your leader needs to be Supernova. And I think they should have done the same thing with Gecko Moria. That's the one thing I'll say. I'm not trying to complain too much. I know some people get upset about that. But if it was restricted to a leader that is Thriller Bark Pirates or 7 Warlords of the Sea, that would also be very interesting. Guys, future blue-black Thriller Bark 7 Warlords of the Sea deck, who'd be interested in that? And do you guys see what I'm saying right now? Watch this. Okay, hang on. Let me get out of here. Wouldn't it be really cool to have a blue-black 7 Warlords of the Sea deck? And I know everyone right now is probably like cringing, like they're just shaking, like, no, please, not anything but that. And it's like, well, unfortunately, that's the sad part, is it's like, because of the way this card is, it does seem like it limits that a little bit, doesn't it? I don't know. You guys tell me what y'all think in the comment section below. Personally, I would love the idea of a blue-black Gecko Moria deck. That would be incredible, right? If it was limited to Thriller Bark, though. See, and that's where I kind of draw the line, like as far as like the design space goes, because of how this card is. Here's one thing I'm wondering. So spoiler warning incoming right now, guys. If you don't want to get spoilers, now's your chance to back out. But there is a new leader coming out here in Usopp. He is, I guess technically we already have this incredible leader as well. Who knows? I might have to mess with a blue-black No, it wouldn't quite work out because of the seven Warlords of the Sea thing with the new Trafalgar Law. But anyway, with Usopp right here, hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to say there. I know I didn't get the full thought out. What I was thinking was, okay, let's make a deck that's running Gecko Moria the 8 cost and the 4 cost Gecko Moria, and just have all these interactions like with Jinbei and stuff where we can just go absolutely crazy with it. And that would be really cool. Honestly, that would be really cool. But that's going to be a topic for another video, I think. But Usopp right now, there might be a world where maybe there's a blue-black 7 Warlords of the Sea deck where you're running, like, let me type in 7. Oh, hang on. Let me take off black first because I didn't load every card in. Actually, I did for black. I think so. Anyway, so when you type in 7, it looks up for all 7 Warlords of the Sea cards. And guys, I checked. That's not one, by the way. This is just he has Water 7 in his types. But Gecko Moria is a 7 Warlords of the Sea card. So this is something in a blue-black deck you'd be able to search up with something like Sengoku. And then over the course of the game, the only card you wouldn't really be able to play in this list would be the new Boa. Actually, the new Boa would be fine because she can give up to one of your 7 Warlords characters a Dawn and leaders. But if we're running something like what I was saying with the blue-black Usopp, it wouldn't work as well. Like, it wouldn't work because you couldn't give it to the leader. But that's not the biggest deal either. But with this card, Trafalgar Law, this one, see, that's the crazy part, right? This card, they realized, was so strong, it had to be, your leader has to be 7 Warlords of the Sea to get this effect. But then this card is like, well, no, that's fine. You can just run anything with it. It's just so strange to me, guys. And I'm not trying to complain. Please don't misunderstand anything I'm saying. We're kind of just having fun theory crafting about how the future of the game could look. And I would love to see a blue-black Thriller Bark 7 Warlords combo. You know, like, that would have been really cool. What if this was a 4-life, 5,000 power blue-black leader with this effect, guys? That would have been kind of interesting. But one more thing I do want to say. Where was I going with this? I wanted to check out Usopp. That's right. So let me get off this. I'll hang on. Let me do leader. Okay, so let me bring out the Usopp real quick. Every blue-black leader in the future now is something they'll have to really consider what the 4 cost and 2 cost spots are in that deck. In fact, any deck that is black plus any color, now Bandai will have to consider, well, how will it affect this card? And that's where it kind of scares me going forward for the game. And I'm not saying anything's broken or anything needs to be banned. We're just talking very, we're just brainstorming right now. Going forward, though, what kind of restriction will that put on the design elements of the game? And that's my question. That's where I will answer this, and that's how I choose to answer this. I know it's not the answer a lot of people want, but think about it like this, guys. Look at every one of these leaders that have black in their color. The only one that's not going to run Gecko Moria is this one right here, a leader they designed that cannot run Gecko Moria. I mean, I guess you could technically still run it, but why would you? It's just an 8 cost 9k vanilla at that point. But look at this, guys. If you're playing Isho or Perona, Gecko's probably going to be pretty good in there. Rebecca's a little bit different because she can't attack. She does favor the more Dressrosa stuff because of her search thing. But I've seen Rebecca lists that run Gecko Moria. Not many, but I've seen it. Sakazuki would, of course, run it. Usopp might run it, might not. They are trying to give Dressrosa a lot of tools so that they can combat not having to run this card. Like, we'll give them other ways to flood the board, right? This card can obviously run Gecko Moria. Everyone on, I'm not going to go through every one of these guys. Every single character down here, every leader would probably want to run Gecko Moria. Even this card, cheating out the 2 cost yellow little dudes for the combo. So it's one of those things where I know a lot of people don't want to see this card go, and I just wish it had been type locked. I just wish it had been type locked to Thriller Bark, and then you could have had these 2 leaders right here, Gecko Moria and Perona, and then any future Thriller Bark leader they printed. And this card would have been absolutely perfect at home there, pulling back cards like Perona and Cerberus, or pulling back cards like Absalom and Anupi, or whatever combo you want to come up with. But as is, excuse me, with it not being type locked, it is getting a little bit scary when, like, every time your opponent hits 8 Dawn, they're looking at a full board clear on their side, or on your side, and then they're developing a full board on their side. And that's just the first Gecko you have to deal with. And everyone after that's going to be a little bit stronger because then they have access to their Ice Age plus the effect, or the Tempest Kick, or whatever was left on the board. So hopefully that was something to talk about there. I know I didn't really... Let me try to at least address it. So topic of the day is the black 8 cost Gecko Moria broken. I don't know if the card itself is broken, but the things it's able to do through all the other effects make it very hard to play against. And I can't imagine how hard it is going to be for the developers moving forward to keep it balanced. And that's kind of the way I want to answer that, where I'm not seeing I don't like seeing a card is broken, because I think a card is... if a card's broken, it's easy. It's going to be probably just as easy to say a card's broken, just as easy as it is to say it can be fixed. Like, for example, with Gecko Moria, I don't like restricting cards down, but I'm not opposed to it either. I remember that was actually kind of decent when they did that. It was interesting when they did that with in OP0, what was it, 4.5 or something like that, where they ended up restricting the 9-cost Whitebeard, the Radical Beams, and the 4-cost Marcos, and then they ended up just banning Newgate. It's like, I just get it out of here because it won't stop winning. It had to wait for power creep to catch up to it. And that's one of my biggest concerns with this card. Let's go back to one more site over here that I had up, just OnePieceTopDecks.com. And when you look at deck lists, let's go to the west where we are right now in OP0 8.5, and there's a lot of decks on here that are running Gecko Moria. Okay, now Lucci, ST13 Luffy, a lot of those, and there should be not many people are running the ST14. Does Smoker run it? Let me see something real quick, guys. I guess the question is why wouldn't you run it? Yeah, of course it's running it. Excuse me. And here's ST14 Luffy. This is running it too, of course, unless this is a deck list I've never seen before. It just runs it. And here's one thing I want to really stress too. I also have up Eggman events. We can look at this as well in a second. Here's one thing I want to say too. I like when there's a strong card in the game that kind of transcends multiple sets, but not if it's doing that in like a broken way or something like that. You know what I mean? And again, I'm not trying to say it's broken, but we're definitely getting very close to this card being considered, out of control. And that's why they had to print an entire leader within the same color that kind of stops the card. You know what I mean? But we'll have to see. So now, real quick, actually, before we move on any further, I do want to, before going into Eggman stuff here, let's look at OP09 in the East, and it looks a little bit better. We're still seeing Gecko Moria pop up in all of these decks with SC13 Luffy and Lucci, but Blackbeard's popping up now. Doffy's starting to see a lot of play. Shanks, Bonnie. There are other decks. That's crazy. Look at this, guys. ST1 Luffy. I'll have to check that out later. This is OnePieceTopDecks.com if you guys want to check this out for yourself. Let's check out the OP09 Luffy, the purple-black Luffy. Okay, this one's also running Gecko Moria. Not too surprising. Again, if a deck runs any form of black, it will probably be running Gecko Moria. Of course, Perona I understand because she's literally Thriller Bark. But yeah, if it's not Blackbeard and it's running black, then it's probably going to be running Gecko Moria. But anyway, I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let's head over to one more thing I want to talk about before we change topics completely. Is when you look at, these are the most recent results as of October 31st. And here's the top 10 decks right here. Well, Lucci, ST14 Luffy, ST13 Luffy, and then Smoker. So 4 out of these top 10 are going to be running Gecko Moria. And that's where you start getting a little bit concerned, in my opinion, where it's like, okay, well, wait a minute, what's going on here? It looks like the field is has a lot of variety. But then, like I said, if you go into the actual top 16, let's see, okay, this was the most recent one at Madison. This was a 500-player tournament. And, okay, this one's actually a little bit lower on the count than I've seen lately. And that's a good, well, okay, then you get over to the leader breakdown. It's a little bit different. A lot of people are playing Doflamingo right now. That's like the flavor of the month right now. It's doing very well. It's a very powerful deck. But look at this, guys. Even still, you've got all these Rob Lucci's and ST13 Luffy's. That's 121, I believe. Let me see. 121, I think, is the number there of decks that are running across 2 different leaders that are running Gecko Moria. And then you also have where is the other Luffy? I don't see the ST14 Luffy on this list. Maybe no one's running it right now. I'm not sure. But then 83 other, who knows what it is. But then when you look at the top 16, this looks pretty good. I mean, it's a lot of Doflamingos because, like I said, that's like the new deck everyone's playing right now. And it didn't even win, by the way. All these Doflamingos and it didn't even win. That's kind of a good sign. I think that's like a healthy, balanced sign. But 3 ST13 Luffy's, 1 and 1 Lucci, so 4 out of the top 16. See, that doesn't look too bad, guys. But then when we go back to some of the other lists back here, 6 Lucci's made it through, 1 ST13 Luffy. So 7 out of the top 16, not too bad, of decks that are running Gecko Moria. That's what we're talking about. Let's go back just one more set. This one had 1,000 players at it pretty much. In the top 32, 10 were Lucci. 7 were ST13. So 17 out of the top 32 were running, whatchamacallit, good old-fashioned Gecko Moria. Not saying it's broken, just saying it is very well represented in the current format of the game. And in fact, this is kind of a sign that it's not totally broken when you look at this. Like, look at the top 32. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different decks in the top 32. I think that's a pretty healthy sign overall. And let me go to the last two we just looked at. In the top 16, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different leaders in the top 16. And we have black, blue, yellow, green, purple. Is that OP05? Yeah, purple, blue again, black, yellow, and red. So it's like every single color was pretty much... Did I get every color? Red, green, blue, purple, black, and yellow. Yeah, so every single color was represented in this top 16. And then, of course, let's look at this last one here. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different leaders in the top 16. Blue, black and yellow, green, yellow, black, red, and yellow. Red and yellow here. So from this list, the only thing that was really missing was purple. But overall, I think the game's in a pretty good place. Let me say that right now. But as far as like wrapping up this card goes, I know this was just a bunch of yapping today, guys. I just don't know what to say about this card. Like, let me end like this. I personally think that the way that this card can interact with other cards in the game currently makes it very unhealthy with it not being type locked. That's the best way I can say for this card, and I know that's not the exact answer. You know, some people want me to say, no, the card's not broken at all, or yes, the card's completely broken. People want to hear me say those two things, one of those two things, but I don't think it's that simple of an answer. I've played in games where this card just absolutely infuriates me. I've had games where, just on the sim, right, where I'm just playing on the sim, and we're having like a really good back and forth game, like dang, this is a close game right here. And then they drop Gecko Moria, and I just leave. The game's over. Like, even though I might have like 2 life, they've got 2 life, it's just what it did. Where it's like, okay, they developed an entire board, and now mine's all gone. All right, well, I'm out. You know, GG, you win. You know, I know it's conceding. It's conceding early, and you shouldn't. I'm not saying that's a good practice to do, by the way, guys, but I'm just saying, as much as I'm on the sim, every now and then something like that happens. It is what it is. Not trying to justify it, I'm just saying it happens. But when it comes to this character in general, I know it is a very polarizing leader, but it looks like the way that Bandai has chosen to deal with it is just, let's creep the power up to catch up with it. And that's where it's a little bit concerning. In the last video, I talked about compounding issues, compounding problems, like problems that build on top of other problems, on top of other problems, on top of other problems, and on top of other problems, and so on. And I feel like this character will probably suffer from that because now, like I said, actually the whole game, anything that has, any 4-cost spot has to now consider, no matter what color it is. Because, guys, even if it's like a red leader, or like a black and red leader, okay, well, you'll just play Garp and be able to play Gecko plus the 4-cost card we're talking about. Same thing with Isho for green. Blue can use, we'll be able to use Usopp. What else? Purple will be able to use King. Yellow can use black, yellow, Lin, or black, yellow, Luffy, whatever. And what I was saying was any 4-cost card and 2-cost card in the future, they have to consider how will it interact with this character. And that's not necessarily like the worst thing in the world, but man, all I'm going to say is this. If they could errata this card, you know, they don't have any problem errata-ing cards, but man, if they could have errata this card to make it Thriller Bark, then they could open up, and I know a lot of people are like, well, that would just make it where black, yellow, Luffy's unplayable. Number one, I don't think it'd be unplayable. It would just definitely lose some power for sure. But hey, then they could actually print support for Black Yellow Luffy specifically. They could print a card that might cost 8 that is, you know, or a 5-cost card. That would be nice because it would go with the theme that allows you to pull back 2 2-cost characters from your trash. You see what I'm saying? Like, there are other options that could happen. But yeah, in the meantime, yeah, it would feel horrible because a certain deck would get very, very underpowered. But at the same time, let's talk about the long-term health of the game. Do you guys see... Now I have a question for you guys. Is this card good for the long-term health of the game in its current state? So in other words, every 4-cost card that will ever be printed and every 2-cost card that will ever be printed, this card will be able to use, unless they type lock that card. You see what I'm saying? So instead of like having to type lock all these other cards to prevent future headaches in design space, why wouldn't they just type lock this one? Because I think they could errata it very easily. But I don't know. Because even if they just lock the leader, lock it to a leader. Like, it doesn't even have to be, make it where it's not color locked. That's fine. Just make it be like, okay, if, you know, 8 costs 9K on play, if your leader is Thriller Bark, then do this, then do what it says right here. Because then, you know, if you're running something like Black Green Perona, well, now you still have an awesome, good top-end card that can pull back whatever card from your trash. Because your leader is Thriller Bark. Anyway, I'm just kind of giving some ideas out there, guys. And hopefully that answered some people's questions. How would I fix it? I know one person asked, like, okay, how would I fix it? I would just type like it. That simple. I would have type locked this character because of how powerful the effect is and how totally, you know, how do I say this? Because of how universal this effect is and how it has no restriction, it doesn't have a color restriction and it does not have a type restriction, I would have then at least locked the character to having a leader of a certain type to do the effect. And then you can always balance it a lot easier around a leader. I like when leaders have open effects, but now as the game grows, when you have characters with very open effects, it's dangerous, guys. It's very dangerous. Okay, I'm done yapping about this. Y'all tell me what y'all thought in the comment section below. Tell me what y'all think. Let's please keep it civil. And yeah, moving on. We're done with that. Okay, so we got some games on the sim to go over. You guys let me clean this up real quick. Move this over. Move that over. And we've got some fun games on the sim here of Gecko Moria. Showing off that incredible character we were just looking at. Okay, guys, volume is off. Speed is on 2x. And we'll make sure, yep, and here we go. So first game up, guys, we got a game of Enel versus Gecko Moria versus Enel. And this is using the list, like I said, that Archers came out with. Why does this thing do this? Sorry, guys, I got to move my... There we go. It'll probably pop up. Nope, it didn't pop up the second time. Okay. So right here, I'm just attacking their hand. I swing in for 6. I make them trash a card from their hand. I cheat out the Perona, and now I have another body. They attack it. I'm taking it gladly. I want to get under 4 life anyway, so their Gadatsu has no value. Okay. Now we're going to play out a brand new. We'll set some cards here. We're going to swing in. I do have a hog back I can get back from the trash, but let's see what happens. I attack, I trash a card, and then I get an Absalom. I'm just going to use the hog back, and I'm going to use its effect here to pull back some of these cards. I probably didn't need to do that, but we're going to do it this way anyway. Get a 8-cost Gecko Moria. And guys, you know what I want to do? I just want to play Gecko Moria after Gecko Moria after Gecko Moria. Okay, they swing for 7. We're going to take that. I'm probably going to need some blockers here soon. I'm not sure how many. I know we got rid of 1 Sabo in the trash already, unfortunately. They play out Cracker here, so they're trying to go under my life. They're trying to let me go under life so that way they can attack with it, but we're actually just going to get rid of this guy. We're going to swing for 7. We'll trash the Hina because it doesn't have a counter. We can pull it back from the trash anyway with Gecko if we need it. Play out the Absalom here, putting cards back on the bottom of my deck. Filling out my board, and they took it, and they got another Cracker. Okay, they took the hit for 7, and they get another Cracker. Never punished. Oh, well. Swing for 12. Okay, sure. Banish. It's all gone. Swing for 5. We'll get out of this one. Easy 1K counter. And, yeah, here we go. So now we do have to clean up this board a little bit. That's for sure. We do have to clean up the board. We'll get rid of that with a 5K attack. Always swing for these blank numbers into the board like that. Dare them to use the cards in their hand, guys. They've got 5 cards in hand, by all means. Okay, so I do have to do this in the right way, and I haven't played Gecko in a long time when I was recording this, so I did have to make sure I did things in the correct order here. We'll swing 5, we'll swing 5, let's see what he does, any triggers. Okay, now we're going to start eating cards out of hand because he has to counteract to keep his life at 1, and I think we're just going to develop a Gecko Moria here, guys. I think that's the way to do it. I think that's the right call. So develop the Gecko. We'll do a straight, I was going to say a value Gecko, but not quite. We'll do a semi-value Gecko where we, actually not at all. I'm not even going to replace these characters. I'm going to make him trash a card with Perona. And then I'm going to swing for 6. He takes it. Okay, he's down to 0 life now, right? Oh, it was you're the one who should disappear. Or wait, or was it? Did he mess up? I don't know what he just did there, but something messed up where he didn't gain a life. Oh, no, actually, hang on. I think I know what happened. So I swung for 6 here. He took it. And what was it? Oh, it was Anami. So he trashed the you're the one who should disappear to pop my 4-cost character. Okay? And it allowed him to cycle a card because he had 3 less cards in hand, I believe. Seems good. Not too bad. But now he has to try to go for lethal right here when I have 2, 4, 6K in hand, right? He's not getting lethal. Yeah, going for my character, I guess that's the best idea. But, guys, I'm not letting a character go, and we're about to swing 7 infinite times. It's just going to be 7s on 7s on 7s. And I saw he got rid of a you're the one who should disappear. Let's see what he gets here. Okay, we'll swing for 9. I'm trying to force that last life so that I could load everything up on one character. And he only had... He can only get out of a 7K. He didn't get any special trigger. Game over. Really fun matchup there. I really enjoy Gecko Moria. Like, I think this is a very fun deck to play. And a really cool version of it from Artress. Okay, so 2x speed, volume's off. We're going to get Smoker this time. Got a game versus Smoker. And, yeah. Smoker's very strong now, guys. Smoker is no joke. Very nice. We got the Perona from one of those mill effects. We're swinging it for 6. They have to trash a card. We're swinging for 6. And then the 6 hits. They actually take it. They get a Helmeppo. Haven't seen that card in a minute, guys. Have not seen a Helmeppo. That's the 3 cost, 3,000 power, 1k counter trigger. Play this card, Helmeppo. He has when attacking, do -2 to a character's cost for the turn. And if it's now 0, he gets plus 2,000. Okay, swinging for 5. I take that. That was a little bit greedy to take that, but hey, it is what it is. And guys, I think I'm just going to attack this guy's hand nonstop. Yeah, we're going to trash the Perona. Go ahead and give me a card from hand and give me one of your life cards while you're at it. That seems good. We'll take it every single time. Yeah, swinging in for 7 there. We're just attacking this guy, just relentlessly hitting this guy. They play out the Smoker. That's a pretty cool new tech card that allows you to, shut down some attacks for the turn. But, I'm not too worried about it. He's going to swing for 5 here. I probably should counter out of this one because he's about to swing for 7. We give him a 1k counter, swing for 7, we'll take it. And here we go. Let's see what we can do now. We have a 7 Dawn turn. I do believe I have a, I have Absalom in the trash from what I just did there. So I can go -4 to this guy. We'll swing in for 7 into the Hina. Use the 2 Dawn left to play out the Absalom. And then we'll fill up our the bottom of our deck with 2 random cards there. Two cards we didn't need. Pop that. He gives me a 1k to save that card. Oof. That feels bad for him. And now look at my board. I've got 4 5Ks coming across the board next turn. He plays out the Garp. Okay, a blocker. That's a good start. But, okay, now we're talking. I was going to say, yeah, Garp's nice and all, but you're going to have to do something more than that. Popping the Perona doesn't seem like the right play there. I mean, I guess neither does the Absalom because I can pull anything back I want. And, yeah, I guess he doesn't have 5 cards in hand. It makes sense. Okay, swing for 7 in here. I'm just going to get out of that one. I don't want to go too low in life. Okay, but I think it's time to just go 7s. It's like you did a 1k last turn. Let's see what you get here. Okay, swing for 7. I don't know what he can get to get out of this. Like I said, last turn he had to go 1k to survive. So I'm just going 8 here. I'm just calling his bluff. I'm like, you either got it or you don't. He did not have it. He got 1k counter from that, and that was it. So good game there. Pretty aggressive list here, I have to say. That's what I do like that a lot about Gecko Moria. It can be very, very aggressive, and it hits the hand. It hits the hand as well. Okay, so now we got a game versus Blue Doflamingo. Okay, very fun, very fun. I'm sure people are going to be mad at me for my my response about Gecko. It was like the greatest non-answer ever. But hey, it is what it is, guys. I have to be careful what I say, and I don't want people to see me as like complaining or anything like that too much. I don't like that look. Okay, so the Doflamingo goes first. They're going to do a Sengoku search. I go second. I'm going to play out the brand new. Brand new does the top search. What did I get with that? Let me see something real quick, guys. We get the... I was going to say, if I got Isho, that'd be surprising to me. I feel like I don't need the Isho right now because I already have an 8-cost Gecko Moria I can play on tempo if I need to. But playing out the Isho is actually very good on tempo as well because it... Oh, okay. So top card of their deck is a Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. We don't like seeing that. Okay, so let's just do what we do best and just attack face here. Swing 7, trash a card, get back the Absalom. We'll return 2 cards to the bottom, pop the 1 cost, and just like that, we're off to the races, just like what Doffy does. Doffy does the same thing where they just cheat out characters. Gecko Moria is kind of like the inverse of Doffy, right? Where like, okay, he cheats out like multiple characters. We cheat out characters that KO things. It's like, so you're getting the double card advantage, but in different ways. Okay, so they play out a Buggy here. They're trying to set their top cards, but it's a little late for that. I feel like they should have done that first. But I guess they already did they already know what their top card was? It's weird they went for that. It's weird that they went for that. Or maybe they drew that from the Crocodile's effect. I have no idea. I can't remember. It actually, no, is that the 2k counter Crocodile? Not sure. Oh, well. Okay, so there we go. We smash into it. He lets it go. I play out the Hina. That Hina, they're on their 7 Dawn turn, I believe. So they're going to need to get rid of this Hina. They had Gravity Blade Raging Tiger on top of their deck, and then they choose not to do it. Well, they're probably not going to get a chance to remove my Hina ever again. I gave them 1 chance to do it so that way they could lose all their tempo. But it's like, okay, well, if you're not going to remove this card, well, now that's going to be like an 8-cost character for the rest of the game. Very hard for them to deal with. Okay. Boa Hancock, they're playing that card out, setting their cards. I feel like their sequencing is a little bit off or something this game. The Doffy player, like they're really struggling with the sequencing. Are we on 2x speed? Yeah, we are. Okay. Okay, they attached the Dawn there for whatever reason, just for the effect. We're going to swing in for 5. Okay, and then we're going to play out Gecko Moria, because why not? We're going to play out the Sindri, filling up the trash first. Use the not the Helmeppo. Use the Absalom to trash this. Okay, and that was a mistake. Whoopsies. So I didn't mean to do that. For those who might be wondering, I didn't mean to send the Sindri out first and then the Absalom. I wanted the Absalom standing and then the Sindri to be sideways. But whichever character you click first, they're going to be standing on the sim, and the second one will be rested. Okay, so something to know for the newer players. That was just a mistake. That was just an accident, though. That was not my intent. Okay, so we're going to trash a card to attach a Dawn there, and now... yeah, I don't think we even have to swing. That's an 8-cost character. I've got 2 8-cost characters on the board right now. Let's see what they decide to do. They still have the Gravity Blade Raging Tiger. They can get rid of my they can get rid of one of my Absaloms and my brand new. But is that really that great? Like, is that really a great play? Okay, they cheat out the Mihawk. I let them have it because now I can just pull it back and KO stuff with it if I need to. And let's see what happens here. They have 6 Dawn left. I think they had a Jozu in their hand earlier, or they had one before. I can't remember. Let's see what they choose to do. If I'm not mistaken, this guy might just give up soon. Yeah, I think this guy was, like, struggling to play the deck. I'm not sure what he was trying to do, but he kept messing up. So the way that I would have done that turn, I would have swung for 7, no action, like no leader action. Swing for 7 into 5, gets rid of it, and then I would have Gravity Bladed the cards I could. Just get rid of the brand new, get rid of the Sindri, or even just, actually, never mind. Like, why even get rid of those? Literally just play out the Jinbei and cheat out something like the Gecko to get back a 2K counter. Just, or do the Jozu. But I played around most of the stuff he had. Like, that Pudding in his hand, that's a dead card. If he plays out Pudding, I'll get better cards than I have in my hand right now. That Gravity Blade Raging Tiger literally could only hit one target this turn. It was the Absalom. If they play out the Jinbei and cheat out the Trafalgar Law, they can't hit any of my relevant targets. It's like, okay, yeah, give me a 2K counter back or give me a utility back, sure. So I played around pretty much everything he was trying to do there, and I think that's why he left. I think that's why the person left. They just kind of got fed up and left. Because next turn, I'm bringing absolute punishment his way, right? Like, next turn, it's going to be smashing for, you know, probably 7 with the Hina, another 9 with the Gecko Moria. It was just going to be disastrous from there. Okay, next game. We got 2 more. We've got another game versus Doffy. I was sniping Doffys with this once that game happened because I wanted to at least show how good the deck was against, like, the most relevant deck in the format. Every now and then I'll try to go for a specific matchup, but not always. It just depends on what I'm doing. So we'll play out the brand new here. We got to go first, and I do like going first, but I wanted to fill up my trash, so I do brand new plus Sindri. That filled up a lot of trash very quickly. Seems good. They're going to swing for 8 in here. And let's go ahead and start fighting for the board. My favorite thing to do. We'll just start fighting for the board. Okay. I'm thinking about playing out the Kuzan here. I don't really like that play, but I think we're going to do it anyway. Okay. So we're going to play out the Kuzan here to draw a card, set up a cost reducer, and now we're going to, you know, we might take a little bit of heat, take a little bit of hits here. But hey, when they attacked first, I'm like, oh, cool, no Pudding. Seems good. Because I was scared they were going to Pudding here. So now I'm countering out of everything aggressively here. So we'll give them a 2K, 1K. Cool, we'll take it. All right. You know, we'll take the way to save life cards, and we'll get out of the Pudding range. They play out a Jinbei, cheating out a Gecko, drawing back their 2K counter or whatever that was. We'll swing 6 into it. He gives me the 2K counter back. -4 to the other Gecko Moria. And now I think we're just going to start smashing. Okay. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to do here. I don't have I don't really have a great turn. So it's like, okay, we'll just do this, I guess. Then we'll load up 3 on the brand new. So 6 into 5 here, popping that card, swing 6 into 5. They 1K countered out thinking it was just going to be a 5K attack. That was a mistake on my opponent's part, but hey, you know, I say this all the time. I'm not trying to win for my opponent, but that was definitely a mistake. And now they're going to swing 5 into 5. I probably should let it go, to be honest, but I think I counter out. Yeah, we counter out. Once you have less than 5 cards in hand, Sabo's not exactly the greatest card. Like, you lose so many options. Okay, let's see what we do here. I really want to get a Gecko Moria down, because that would just, like, kind of seal the deal for me. All right, but let's see what happens here. We'll go 5 into 5. Give me all your cards, please. He's too smart for that. We'll swing 6 into 6 here. We'll trash a card, probably the Hina. We'll get the Hog back. Hog back, we'll grab the Gecko Moria. And your turn. Well, actually, we'll probably play out a... Oh, okay. I was going to say, yeah, hey, we'll play out Borsalino. No, he won't. Just kidding. So I swing in for 9 into 6, get rid of that card. And actually, we're in a pretty decent spot. Even though they technically have more life than us, we've got a Gecko Moria in hand. They're going to swing 9 into 5 here. We're going to take that. And 11 to face. Yep, I guess we'll take it. Nice. Another Gecko Moria. We'll take it every time. We've got Borsalino in the trash. We've got all kinds of things we can do here. We'll swing 6, and we'll swing 6 into it. He ends up taking it. So, okay, now they just leave because the game's over, right? So at this point, I think they just assume the game's over, and it really is, to be honest, because what was going to happen next is I play out the Gecko Moria. Now, they do have a Kaido coming. We'll talk about that in a second. But I have a Gecko Moria that's about to come down where it's going to pull back. In this case, I'm not even going to grab the blocker anymore. I'm actually going to grab the Absalom to pop that buggy and then do a brand new search or a Sindri, whatever I needed to do there to keep advantage, keep up card advantage. Now, after that, they would have a chance to play out the Kaido, but what is that going to do in this situation when like, how do I say it? Actually, first of all, if they play out the Kaido, I think I do one more turn of setup where it's like, okay, I'll play out my Isho now, and then I'll pop your entire board. Yeah, or excuse me, your hand. I'll pop your hand, pop your entire board. What am I talking about? Pop your hand because he'll have 6 cards in hand after playing out the Kaido, so he'll lose. He'll go down to 4 cards left in hand, and then I'll just go about it that way. Just keep smashing into him. I don't know. It depends. If he played the Kaido, that would definitely change. I would have to change things accordingly. But we didn't get to that point. He gave up before then because the board was looking so bad for him. And once I dropped the Gecko Moria, like I said, it just becomes a disaster. All right, we got one more game, guys. We got one more game. Looks like these were out of order. Oh, I see why. I had him named differently. Okay. All right, so we got a game versus Red Yellow Sabo, my absolute favorite. You guys know this is my my main deck, so I do know how to play around Red Yellow Sabo pretty well. But at the same time, Red Yellow Sabo is the kind of leader where there's like a million different versions of this deck. So yeah, we'll have to see what happens here. Okay, so they're going to go ahead and we went first, and typically speaking, you do want to go first as Gecko. We'll trash this. Nice. We have another Perona in our trash for next turn. We swing it for 6. They have to trash a card. They take it, draw 2, trash 1. That was pretty good. That was a pretty good card for their top life. Was having the Bonnie up there. Okay, our hand's pretty good though. Our hand is pretty good. They're going to swing for 5. I really don't want to give them this. Yeah. Either one of those is fine. I could have trashed the Absalom or the Borsalino. It wouldn't have mattered. Okay, so how do we get rid of this card? Are we going to have to use some... Okay, looks like I'm swinging for 6 here. And then I should do Suru. Yeah, Suru -2. We'll swing it for 6, use the effect, trash that guy, play out this guy, and throw some cards to the bottom, KOing the Jory Bonnie. Yeah, Absalom is so nice in the early game, and if you have Ice Ages for earlier or cards like Hina Ice Ages for later and Hina's for later, you can really pop a lot of big targets, a lot of very important targets with Absalom. And if you get down an Isho, you can hit anything with that combo that we just said there, like Ice Age plus Absalom plus Isho, insane. So he smashed into my Perona there. That's fine with me. Looks like we're just gonna go for some value here. Because I have a pretty good 7 Dawn play where I could just swing for 6 with the leader into the Luffy and then play out the Perona, making him lose a card from his hand. But it really depends on what I'm trying to do here. Okay, swing for 7. I'm trying to get 2k counters out of his hand. We'll see what he does. Because I think ultimately I need this card off the board. They give me a 0 cost 3k, so I think now we're just going to load up and I'm going to... So I kind of... Okay, so hear me out. I think I did that wrong. I should have swung for 8 into him to begin with, trashing a card, playing out the Perona, making him trash a card first, and then he'd have to counter out with 2 more cards, but I don't know. It is what it is. That was definitely a play mistake. All right, now he's going to play out the Kid and Killer for 7, because I have 4 life, so that Kid and Killer is a 5,000 power rusher for 4. Not very strong at that point, guys. Okay, so right here, we're going to swing for 5, swing for 6, play out Gecko, and we're just going to say good luck. That's the point we're at right now. Okay, he should take this one. He knows Gecko's coming. It should be completely obvious. Yep. We'll go ahead and play out a blocker. Then we'll play out a brand new. That's one of the best little interactions you can get there. Unfortunately, I did whiff the search, I think. But that's okay. We do have another body on the board, and we have another Gecko in hand. So we're going to be able to block out of one of these attacks with Borsalino without any problems. Play out another Gecko to cheat out the same Borsalino if we need to do that. If we need to, we'll see what he decides to do here. Because trying to go for lethal in this situation seems crazy to me. Trying to go for lethal as the Red Yellow Sabo player here does seem a little bit crazy. Okay, so we are going to fast forward a little bit, I think, because if I'm not mistaken, this guy takes a long time for this next decision here. Yeah, we just skipped forward 1.5 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. 2.5 minutes for him to play that, and then he passes and concedes. And I get that play. That I think that was the right call. He has no chance at this point. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's nothing against the guy. You know, it's just like, hey, at this point in the game, I have 3 life, so you can't really rush me down. I have a blocker, and I also, he doesn't know this, but I have 2, 4, 6K counter in hand. I'm about to play out another Gecko Moria next turn. I'm going to block with Borsalino this turn. I'm going to, you know, and then I'm going to play out a Gecko Moria on the following turn, bringing back the Borsalino, and then whatever other little 2-cost guy I could have gotten with it. It just becomes like too much to deal with at that point. Okay, all right. Well, that's it for the games, guys. That was really fun. Let me go ahead and show off the list here. This is that was not my list that I was running there. Okay, that was actually Artris TCG. Another big shout out to him who made an awesome list. Check it out, guys. Here it is. I will link the video down in the comment section below that shows off the list that we're talking about. This is it. It's, you know, we got Kuzan in there. So I'll run through the list real quick. So here's the leader. Pause and read this if you don't know what it does. 2 Kuzans, 2 Surus, 4 Borsalino, 2 Isho, 4 Branu, 4 Sabo, 4 Absalom, 4 Gecko Moria, 4 Dr. Hogback, 4 Victoria Sindri, 4 Perona, 2 Tashigi, 4 Hina, 4 of the 3 costs, 4 of the 4 costs Hina, and then 2 Ice Ages. Okay, really good stuff there. A lot of fun to play. The idea, let me explain his idea. Again, watch this video for the full like breakdown of it. The idea is, okay, if you're running this card right here, notice what it has. Activate main once per turn. You may place 1 card from your trash on the bottom of your deck. Give your leader or up to one of your characters 1 Rested Dawn. So on a 10 Dawn turn, the idea was this. I didn't get to pull it off in the video, unfortunately. But hey, you know, the deck was still running well. This is just a perk to the deck, like a hidden tech to the deck. A little bit of rhyming going on there. But the idea is you play out Gecko Moria, getting back whatever characters you might need, maybe even this card, and then use her effect to attach a Dawn to your leader, and then swing for 6 and use your remaining 2 Dawn to get another card out of your trash. So it's a really cool tech idea for this card, and it seems like, who knows, going forward. And guys, you're already running like a half Thriller Bark, half Navy package. It just kind of makes sense to me. It just kind of makes sense. Really cool stuff there. All right, we're done, guys. I'm done yapping for today. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Please do not forget to like and subscribe. Let me go ahead and bring up the playmat page real quick. Okay. Big shout out to everybody who supports the channel, guys. If you're liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, viewing, whatever you're doing, I really, really appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. To everybody who bought the playmat, I hope you guys are enjoying that. And of course, to the patrons, thank you guys so much. You know, to all the VV Pirates patrons here. And, you know, again, thank you guys so much for helping me out in all the ways you do. All right, I'm done. Hope you enjoyed. Let's please try to keep it civil in the comment section, guys. Talking about Gecko Moria, please. Let's be chill. You know, let's not be too crazy in the comment section, all right? All right, until next time, guys. Or excuse me, hope you all enjoyed. Until next time, peace.